Welcome to episode 1 of the Unstuck podcast, where we assess sticky situations to see who's right, who's wrong, and all the nuances that will get your head spinning. Some of these stories will hit close to home, others might not. But every episode will offer you takeaways, strategies, and insights on how you can solve situations in your own life. So, let's dive in. In this episode, Person A and Person B are boyfriend and girlfriend. We'll name them Braden and Rebecca. Braden and Rebecca live in an apartment together and split all the household chores between them. When Rebecca's cleaning, she likes to place items on top of Braden's laptop. Braden doesn't like when his girlfriend does that and has told her multiple times to stop because, she could possibly break something on his laptop. He's told her multiple times this for weeks. This week, the inevitable happened. His girlfriend placed something on his laptop and broke the laptop screen. Since she damaged the laptop, Braden thinks that she should pay for the damages. Rebecca claims it was an accident and refuses to pay, even though she was warned multiple times to stop her behavior. The name of this episode is You Break It, You Fix It. So, this situation is pretty sticky, but I can see where the issues lie. And for me, I believe it boils down to boundaries. Braden has a boundary. Don't place things on my laptop while cleaning because you could break my laptop. It's a reasonable boundary that protects something that belongs to him. Rebecca constantly doing it despite his directness about his personal boundary is an affront to their relationship. I mean, she overstepped his boundary multiple times after being warned a numerous amount of times. So she didn't respect it, and because she didn't, she broke his boundary and his trust and his laptop. To me, I believe Braden's boundary was reasonable. In this sticky situation, emotions are heightened. Braden is pissed that his laptop is broken. Rebecca feels she doesn't have to pay because she truly believes that it was an accident. But does it truly absolve you from the responsibility just because it was an accident? That's a good question to think about. Is there a better way that this situation could have been handled? Maybe, but I need to know more. So let's jump into the missing pieces section of this podcast. Is Braden a reliable narrator? From what we know, we only know his side of the story. We don't know Rebecca's side of the story. We don't know if Rebecca told him to move the laptop multiple times from her cleaning space. We don't know where Braden likes to keep his laptop. Does he like to keep his laptop in his office space? Because that changes the dynamic of the story. If his laptop was in his office space and she's placing things in his area on top of his laptop, then that makes it a true injustice. But if Braden placed his laptop in the living room space on the coffee table, but we don't really know that information, and we can't make inferences about that because that's the missing piece that would really put this puzzle together. And that also makes the situation extra sticky. Now, if this laptop was placed in the shared space and Rebecca did tell him to remove the laptop from the shared space, that flips this scenario entirely, because you have a boundary where someone's saying, don't place something on my laptop. But then you have person B over here saying, hey, this laptop is in a shared space. Put it away so that it's not in the way of me cleaning. Here's another missing piece that I didn't think about. We do not have context on how Braden was approaching the situation. Is he asking her nicely to remove the things from his laptop? Or is it more like a command or an order? Because how you say things can make or break the result that you're trying to get. Think about it this way. Would you respond better to, hey, could you please move those things from my laptop because, the weight and the things that you're putting on my laptop could break it because, technology is sensitive, blah, 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 right? Or would you respond better to this? Could you get that stuff off my laptop now because you're going to break my stuff? You know what I'm saying? There is a big difference between the two. One is more subtle, nicely explained, gives reasoning, gives all the things. And the other one is just like, it's just freaking abrasive. So I don't know how she was asked to correct her behavior. You know what I mean? So it's like one way can make her feel like, okay, that's a reasonable request. Let me move the things. The other can make her feel defensive, more like she's being commanded, if she's being ordered. And that can play on their need to not be controlled. When you're being rough with somebody and abrasive, people begin to put up a wall. People begin to start to say things like, I don't like the way he said that to me. I may or may not fulfill that request because of how I feel about how they said it, So that is another thing to be considered that may unstick the situation or make it more sticky. My biggest question is, why is Rebecca constantly ignoring something that she was asked not to do? I need to know where her head is at. Like, why is that a thing? I mean, that's a thing that most people want to know, especially parents. Like, why, when I tell you to do something and you do it anyway, what makes you want to do that? Is it a control thing, or is it like something even simpler? Are we giving her too much credit, or is it just a robotic behavior that she does? When she's cleaning, she places things on top of other things while she's cleaning. Because when I was younger, I had a mom who, when it was time to declutter the house, the easiest thing for her to do was to place items or all the cluttered items in one area and have people in the household pick up those items until the area of clutter was completely gone. So for Rebecca, maybe for her cleaning mechanism is to pile up things in one spot. And that may be a habit that she might not be easily broken or corrected. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that she's been doing for years, because that's another missing piece. We don't know how old this couple is. Maybe they're in their early 20s, maybe they're in their 30s, who knows? But people in their early 20s make certain decisions that a person in their 30s might not. But if Rebecca has been cleaning a certain way for 20 so years or 30 years, it's going to be extremely hard for her to break that habit. You know what I'm saying? So, while Braden might need to give her grace on correcting her behavior, he might also need to hold considerations for her habits that are hard to break. If you've been doing something the same way for 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, how hard would it be for you to break that habit? If you've been smoking for 20 years and someone asked you to stop because it's detrimental to your health and their health, would you be able to? It's not that extreme, but at the same time, it could be that hard for her. So that's something to also think about. Because we don't have this information, I have to go based on the information that was presented to me. Let's get unstuck. My verdict is, I would say Rebecca should pay for the damages of this laptop. Even if it was an accident, it does not absolve her from the responsibility of repairing the laptop. If she refuses, Braden may have to make a decision not only about how to replace this laptop, but also about the state of their relationship going forward. Because if something like this can happen over a laptop where a boundary was overstepped, will she possibly do it again for something bigger or something that might actually truly break the relationship? Who knows? If you've been in a sticky situation like this, I'd love to hear what you would do. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this content, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening to the Unstuck podcast. If you're dealing with your own sticky situation and need help untangling it or unsticking yourself, you can find me at Anchored Insight on X or on my Etsy shop at Insight Advisor. Until next time, remember, decisions don't get judged here, and we don't make pressured decisions, only decisions that are right for you.